Hey everyone, Katie Sutton here, intuitive channel and founder of Zen Within Academy, live with your January 2022 energy update. I've got 4 themes to share with you this month. The first is inward revolution. The second is owning your choices. The third is releasing the KillJoys. And the fourth is honoring the divine within. So stay tuned for the rest of the energy update. So it's really wonderful to have you all here. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I hope you had an amazing 2021 and a really good holiday. I just want to express my sincere gratitude to all of you for supporting the work that I do on this planet. I couldn't do this without all of you. So thank you so much for tuning in and being a follower of this channel and subscribing to my content. So here we are, new year, new beginning, 2022. It's kind of a little bit surreal for me. It feels like the last couple of weeks of the year were very, very intense. A lot of purging happened. And so as we have now begun 2022, it feels a little bit like a slow inward start. I don't know if you all have experienced that as well. And, you know, in that vein, the first theme that I want to talk about is the theme of inward revolution. And we, in 2021, were asked to go deeply inward to start to understand and come into our own autonomy and to begin to realize what is most important to us as individuals. And we're not quite done with that energy just yet. As I'm tuning into the frequencies of 2022, especially here in January, what I'm noticing is that we have this desire in the first few weeks of January to really continue that inward process and just pull anything else to the surface that maybe is not in alignment so that it can be ready to be released. It feels a bit like we're in a final purge, that maybe we got a little bit behind in 2021, or we didn't quite finish our work because of certain circumstances that have occurred. And we have one more chance this month to really do a clean out before we get into the energies of February and beyond, which are going to push us forward into more connection and more community. And so you may find that you need to continue to be in a place of inward reflection this month. We do have some Mercury retrograde energy that's going to happen as well around the middle of the month. And so that always asks us to go back and redo and finish things that we started that we have not completed. And so it may be a time of dropping in and going inward a little bit as we begin this month to just get anything else to the surface that needs to go. I don't really suspect that we will be in this inward frequency for all of 2022. As I have started to look into the themes for the year, what I'm really noticing is that there's going to be a huge focus on community and connection and putting ourselves out there more and more. And so this is kind of the last of the goodie of being inward, if you will. So take advantage of this theme. Make sure that you have created balance and structure within your life that allows you to have some time to go inward and slow down, even if it's just for 5 minutes a day. Anything that you can do is really helpful to support this energy. And so that kind of takes me into the second theme this month, which is owning your choices. And so over the last few months, we had some energy of asking us to really get clear with ourselves and bring in some clarity and release illusion. And there are some things that maybe we're realizing that we've chosen that maybe we're not really in alignment for us. And it's really easy to go into regret energy when this comes to the surface. But the invitation that we have this month is to really just own whatever our choices have been and allow those choices to come to a close if they need to. And to not be in a place of shame or regret about those choices, just to continue to make new decisions and to move forward. And so we're being prepared for this kind of forward energy that's going to start to come in at the end of the month and the beginning of February. But we have to really take stock of the choices that we've made in the last couple of years and really get clear if something isn't in alignment. that it's okay to let it go. There may be some grief that this theme brings up of really owning certain choices that we made that, just really are not actually in alignment. Closing the door on certain chapters that have come to an end. I especially feel for some of us that this will come up with relationships and in the vein of work and career, where maybe there were some things that we had been working towards or thought were really, really in alignment for us and had been excited about, that really have just lost their zest and we just need to let them fizzle out. And so just really allowing that and being present in that process as these things come to a close and these choices come to an end. And so that takes me to the third theme, which is this idea of releasing the KillJoys. And so when that was the title that they gave me, I laughed a little bit because I always think of KillJoys as people in our lives that, really take the fun out of things and really make us feel bad about our choices. But this isn't really exactly what that theme is about. This is more the places where we're killing our own joy, where we're maybe doing something or saying something or being something that just is not in alignment with what brings us our highest joy. And so this month we're being asked to start to kind of cull some of those things back and release them and cut them away and pay attention to where we're being lit up and where we are not, right? We're here at the beginning of the year where we can set the tone for the whole year ahead. And so if there's something that's not bringing you joy, let it go. And a really good way to do this in your physical environment is to do the Marie Kondo method and look at anything in your life that's physical in nature that you have that's a material good and decide, does it bring you joy or not? And let it go. January is a great month to declutter. And so not only decluttering our physical environment, but really looking at the activities and the choices that we have to align with going into this year and decide in a very purposeful way what we want to continue to put our energy towards. And so there may need to be some changes, right? You may have made some choices, as we talked about in the last theme, that are creating some lack of joy for you. And there may be some things that you don't want to keep doing, that you want to let go of. And so just allow. And one of the easiest ways to work with this theme that I'm being shown is to start to lean into what does bring you joy and just redirect your time as much as you can. Now, certainly there are things that we all have to do that maybe are not super joyful, but it's about the quality of the time that we have in the rest of our day and what we're aligning with that is so important. So if you are finding yourself feeling flat or dull or unfulfilled, it's really important to start to look for those shiny moments in your day or your week and try to expand them as much as possible. This includes relationships and connections that you have, because so much of the energy as we move forward with the year is about being social and being connected and being in community and being of service. But if we are not full, if we haven't filled up our cup, right, then it's very difficult for us to be of service. And so that takes me to the last theme, which is honoring the divine within. And this theme is kind of particular. There's a very distinct frequency with this. This is beyond self-love. Self-love has come up several times in the last year as a really important focus. And it was so important because we were working on being in autonomy, being in relationship to the self. But as we move through this year, we're going to be asked to be of service and get out there and be more present in the community and with those around us that maybe we have hermited away from in the last year. And so honoring the divine within is really taking the time to be in the utter knowing, the unequivocal knowing that you are a divine being. And just like we would honor a guru or honor the divine outside of us in our prayer or our intention work or our spell work, right? it is important to honor the divinity that lives within each of us. And when we can connect with that inner light and be present in that inner light and honor that at all costs, right? Honoring that first, that is the essence of true self-love. And so it's really looking at ourself as the sacred temple to the divine, right? Not just on a body level, which is always a big focus in January. Everybody wants to work on their physical container, but on an emotional level, on a mental level, on an energetic level, are we truly honoring the divinity within? And so a lot of this theme is going to be about really pulling out of negative self-talk, negative beliefs, and pulling out of places or relationships or circumstances where you have a hard time honoring your divinity. Maybe there are certain connections that you have or certain situations that you're in where you have a hard time seeing yourself and being present in your own light. And so if that's the case, some of those things may need to start to be released this month. And, one of the things that I've been seeing as I've been connecting with people in the last couple of weeks during my time off is that we're so good at seeing the divinity in those outside of ourselves and seeing their light and seeing their truth and seeing their true essence. And we are terrible at doing that for ourselves. We have a really hard time turning that gaze inward and really looking at our own light and our own beautiful energy that we bring forward. And a lot of the clearing that happened in December was related to our shadow self. And sometimes that puts us in kind of this negative viewpoint of ourselves. We get a little stuck there. We get a little hung up seeing ourselves through that shadow lens. And so this is really about the return of being able to view our light. That doesn't mean that we ignore the dark parts of us or the shadow parts of us that we're working on, that we're working with, but it's about claiming the divinity now, understanding that you are of value now, that you are worthy now, even if you still have work to do. We all have so much work to do. We're going to continue to be doing our spiritual work forever, right? Probably even into the next lifetime. It's going to continue. But how can we be in the joy of our own divinity now? How can we hold and be present in that light? And how can we really honor that so that when we're asked in the coming months to go out and shine that light, that we really understand ourselves and we can really hold that vibration as we start to engage with others so that they may then see themselves in that same degree of wholeness, right? Because every time we honor the divinity within each of us, we set the stage for others to be able to do the same. And what better way to truly be of service than doing that? If you can honor your divinity and honor your light and truly see who you are and be in love with yourself and the divinity that exists within, what better way to be of service, right? We are of service when we are whole and happy and healthy beings, just as much as we are of service when we're helping somebody outside of ourselves. And that, I think, is something that we are reimagining this month, this whole idea of being of service, because it is going to be such a theme as we move into the next rest of the year in 2022. And it's going to be a lot about balance as we move through the coming months. And so really take the time this month to go through these themes: inward revolution, getting clear with yourself, owning your choices, releasing the things that don't bring you joy, and honoring the divinity inside of you. And if you can do that, you're going to set a firm foundation for yourself as we move through the next 12 months, as we move through the continued change, as we move through the new beginnings that are coming. Overall, I see 2022 as being a very hopeful year. There's a lot of wonderful things coming in, but there will continue to be change. There will continue to be things that we have to let go of. And the more that we can be in a place of honoring ourselves, the easier that process will be. So those are the themes this month. I hope you have an amazing month. On January 6th, I'll be teaming up with my friend Katee Glass, and we'll be doing a workshop, a 2-hour workshop covering the energetics of 2022. I'll be talking about the themes that I have been channeling from my team, and I'll be sharing some healing meditations at the beginning and the end of the call, one to release 2021 and one to welcome 2022. And Katee is an amazing thinker, and she is going to be bringing forward information from a human design and an astrological standpoint about the themes of the year. And the goal here is to get you all excited about the energies, give you some touch points and places to pay attention to, and to really set you up for success as we move through the next 12 months. So that takes place on January 6th at 6:30 p.m. There's a link to sign up for that workshop below this video. I hope you all have an amazing January. So many wonderful things coming this year, but take the time this month to go slow. Take your time. There's a lot coming, okay? So just take your time, ease into it. Everything will happen in divine timing. Everything will happen. Everything will be perfectly aligned. Be in that place of trust and honoring within. All right, I'll see you all next month. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day.